does it mean? Okay, once. But you've been a part of some major events. You went ahead and had a big win over Adrian Broder here inside this arena. But what is it like when fighters compete here at the MGM Grand Garden Arena?
We love it. I mean, I even love that the weigh-in is open to the public. It's filling up in here. These fighters deserve it. We want to be seen. We want to show out. And when we hear that noise, that gets us going. You know, so that's what's most important about a big fight in a big arena like this. Fill it up, and you give everybody what they want.
So you're telling me that the louder the bands cheer, the better you perform. You haven't been in that spot many times?
Unless you're on the canvas. If you can't go on the canvas and they scream, then you got a different story. But yeah, for the most part, you hear all the good stuff, you hear all the bad stuff. Sometimes you hear the stupid stuff, but it always pushes you forward. You know what I mean?
Now, Gervonta Davis in our main event looking to go to 30-0. Just looking at him by himself. How special is Tank Davis?
Special, and he honestly has put himself in a class of his own. I always like to say that he's fought himself out of the shadow of Floyd Mayweather. I think he got more recognition than most fighters would at his age because of Floyd, but he suddenly has burst through that shadow. He stands by himself now. Power is undeniable, and the skills that go along with it. I love hearing Calvin Ford say, push them buttons, Frank. Push them. Yeah, trust me, Frank don't push them buttons. We're going to see both these guys do some things we haven't seen them do before.
Let's talk about Frank Martin. Frank Martin, 18-0, 12 knockouts. He's a southpaw. Trains under the guidance of Derek James. You know, his promoter is Errol Spence Jr. from Endon Promotions. But can you tell us about how good Frank Martin is? Because I don't think we've quite seen anywhere near the best that Frank Martin has to offer.
You know, first off, I got to shout out Errol Spence Jr. Check out again the Puerto Rican podcast. Check out the interview that we did yesterday. Phenomenal interview. But he said something to me yesterday on the show that I don't run into a lot of promoters and managers telling me that they're giving advice to fighters. You know, seeing Errol on the stage with this fighter yesterday on the press conference, to me that was special. And then he told me, he said, I told him, every fighter has to be here at some point. You tell me what champion never had that first experience. Everybody saying you've never experienced this before. So what? At some point, they had it. Be yourself, be calm, be cool. And I felt like he was giving his fighter a lot of emotional and mental support, which is something that a lot of us need. You know? Once you get past that though, the kid can check off a lot of boxes. Speed, power, quickness. He's very intuitive. He's a counter puncher. He's not going to be running into stuff like y'all seen a lot of Tank Davis's past opponents do. I mean, this one's going to be tactical. Enjoy the chess match, y'all. This one is going to be a chess match, trust me.
Does it need even that much more, Shawn? Because both guys are undefeated, and there's such a mentality to defend that perfect record.
Yeah, you know, I think for Tank, the expectation is what's going to push him forward. You know, if there's any doubt at all that they're losing the fight, what's going to push him forward is the expectation to beat Tank Davis. You know, and then for Frank, not wanting to lose that, that really does mean something. I think for me, it meant something when I lost it, but I didn't understand it until it was gone. But I never looked at my loss like, well, I got a loss, it don't matter if I lose now. No, I want to win every fight, you know. But when you actually have that it does mean something. You can feel that fight slipping away from you. You can hold on to something. That is something that you can grab a hold of.
Speaking of being undefeated, David Benavidez now fighting at 175, taking on Oleksandr Gvozdyk. For David Benavidez now coming up to a new weight class, 7 pounds north. What are you expecting out of the undefeated David Benavidez?
You know, I think the challenge that a lot of people are expected to see from him at 168 is, to me, there's no one that can challenge him at 168. Those challenges are now at 175. He's fighting guys just as big as he is. Gvozdyk, he's fighting guys that have experience, or he will be. You know, this is the first challenge at 175. I think that this will be one of the more evenly matched fights that we'll see David in. David has always had the X factor everybody's been in the ring with. Caleb Plant, for example. Caleb just as fast as David. Most guys aren't as fast as David at 168. Caleb just as fast, but doesn't have the strength to keep off that monster. I think moving up to 175, the playing field is going to be a little more even. If anything, we'll have more speed with both the heads and the feet, and that'll offset everything forward. We'll see.
Well, let's be honest.
become a superstar in boxing. And I say this respectfully because this fight with Gvozdyk, I'm sure if I ask how much of y'all know what y'all know about Gvozdyk, there won't be very many people screaming over the holler. You gotta come on both sides. I feel like when it comes to David Benavidez, we know him to be the monster. Let's talk about who he's getting the ring with. You know what I mean? Let's talk about how great and exciting this fight is gonna be. If you keep pushing the monster and the monster scaring everybody away, you know, you don't have anything to work with. Right now, Canelo Alvarez is a 168. He's the guy I think that makes David Benavidez the star. And I'm gonna say it, y'all ain't seen the Middleweight podcast. Canelo cannot beat David Benavidez.
Whoa, you're saying that?
I respect Canelo. You can't beat him. That's why he ain't called him this name. And I think in the last fight he had against Diaz, post-fight, he hinted at fight Benavidez. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think we see Benavidez stay at 175 and fight his way to becoming the superstar that he should already be.
Possibly matches against better Benavidez.
Oh, absolutely. That's what we're waiting on.
You imagine those fights?
I don't think we see Benavidez, but I definitely feel like we should be able to see David Benavidez get the ring with Bebo. To me, that might be a 50-50 fight.
Love that.
I might be 50-50 fight. I know, like I said before, we haven't seen David in a lot of contending fights where from round one to the end of the fight, it's been a competitive fight. At some point, he just takes off. With Bebo, I think that might be the most 50-50 fight out here for Benavidez.